Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is August 26, 2022, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the U.S. markets have a late summer rally. But first, looking at the major economic events of today. At 2:30 South African time out of the United States, we have a core price index number coming out. It's an inflationary report and very important. And then later in the day, out of the United States, also we have Fed Chairman Powell will be speaking. And mind you, we have the second day of the Jackson Hole Symposium as well. So looking at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the euro and the British pound settle midpoint after the sell-off bounce. We're going to take a look at that just a second. Looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both rally. Looking at commodities, gold steady while oil retraces and tapers off. Looking at the stocks, it was Alcoa that rallied higher, as we mentioned yesterday. And looking at tech stocks, they did rally as well. Lastly, Bitcoin unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're looking at the EURUSD, and you can see at a 4-hour chart, we are just there at midpoint. We made this low the other day at almost 99. We bounced back at 1030, okay, which is about 120, 130 pips, and now we're settling midpoint. That's exactly what to expect in this type of environment, okay? Altogether, we're going to be trading in a range, and if we test these lows again, we may see ourselves going lower, but first, we're not there yet. We're at the midpoint, so be aware of that. Okay, we're not at the top range, which is 1030-ish level, and we're not at the bottom range of 99.000, but we are right there somewhere in the middle. So keep that in mind as we're going into today. Now, looking at the GBP USD, same story. We bounced, but we're still midpoint. Looking at the Australian dollar, a little bit more resilient, as we mentioned yesterday. And the USD Japanese yen, back on its highs. And this one is really going to be very important because this may be the breaking point for the dollar if it does break out higher to 139. Now looking at commodities, gold first, really unchanged and settling at 1730. Not a big deal, okay, since we've had this nice comeback, but we're trading in a very tight range here, as you can see. And looking at crude oil, settling just a bit lower at $93 after hitting $95. And again, this is also going to be trading in a range between $95 and $85 until it's going to break out from those two extremes. Now looking at the US market, starting out with the Dow Jones, we're trading at 33,236, a nice little rally the last day of 200 plus points, which is a bounce for all intents and purposes. The point is that it's happening with the stocks, okay, which is really an important point because it's not going before the stocks, and the same thing happened to the NASDAQ. So let's take a look at the stocks. So the one I'm highlighting here is Alcoa. If we looked at yesterday's and the previous day's action in Alcoa, we saw it going to $53. It was the first one that went higher. And Alcoa is a very important stock because it is aluminum manufacturer that is a staple in the United States. So people are buying new washing machines, and if they're getting orders, that means that washing machine companies and automobile companies are making these orders. So this may be a good sign for the market, at least in the short term, at least for now. Okay, I'm not saying we're out of the woods anytime soon, but keep that in mind. Now the tech stock followed suit. If we look at Apple, did rally a little bit, 169. The one that really rallied higher was Google, pushing us higher to 117. Remember, this was dead the other day. So this is really an important stock there as well. Looking at Microsoft, a little bit of a bounce, but not much. There may be a rotation here as we're, kind of absorbing the market conditions right now. If we look at Facebook, also just a tab of a tab of a pickup there, but nothing really to write home about. It's on low volume. That's another point. Okay, so all these things are little signs to us as we're going into September. And September is usually a sell-off month, so keep that in mind. Don't get caught up in this small bull run inside of a bear market. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, unchanged here at 21,400-ish level, really settling here. It's getting harder and harder to trade Bitcoin, so just be aware of that. We're covering it because it is a popular asset and lots of people like to follow it. I still think it's has room on the upside, but for right now, it's trading in a very tight range. So you want to put your money and focus in areas where there's more volatility. So for right now, Bitcoin's going to be in the back burner. So we're going to speak to you here next week. Thanks, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend. God bless.